these kids nowadays, they don't have no reasoning and no understanding, and they feel like we weak if we comply.
You know, and we're gonna have to do it not by might. You know, we're gonna have to do it in a different way, because when you go at them with deeds, they got something for you. But when you go at them with knowledge, they don't understand that, and it scares them. Ephesians 6:4, and it says, "And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord." Also, 1 Timothy 5:8. See, but if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So, that being said, if a father isn't present, he can't raise the children up as they're supposed to go. You know, and then if he's not there, then he's not teaching them the way they should go, and he's worse than an infidel. And the meaning of infidel means that he is worse than an unbeliever. So what I want to do today is have my panel here. I'm going to ask them a few questions, and then I will let them answer it. And the first one is going to be this. It is believed that mothers love their children more than fathers. It is believed that mothers love their children more than fathers, which is a myth, you know, because that comes about, I believe, because so many fathers are absent, you know, and mothers are standing up doing what they're supposed to do. But as you can see right here, we have fathers that's doing what they're supposed to do, and there's many more in this world. So I would like to ask my panelists, since it is believed that mothers love their children more than their fathers, we know that's a myth. Could you tell us about the love you have for your children?
You start from this way?
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that women love their children more. It's just like you say, the responsibility and being there, and mainly because most of the kids don't get comfort as much from the father as what the mom do to them. So I feel like if the father comforts his child more, it's not more about what you say, it's more about what you do, because they'll feel the love and they'll choose. And it ain't about choosing, but it's like, more like in my situation, my kids is like equal to the love they have for their mom and me, and my love is equal to hers. That's how I feel about that. And I love them. That's how I feel. That's the answer to the question.
Just like what he was saying right there, a lot of guys, men, we love different than women do. It's not that soft-spoken, come here to mama type love. It's more or less trying to teach them the way to walk, the way to talk, the way to conduct themselves, and being a little bit more firmer than women are. I love my kids, and I want to show them the way they supposed to be in life, and I'm a firm believer of leading by example.
Well, I don't know, I got girls. So, so my love is a little different, so I gotta love a little harder, be a little softer at the same time. So it's a constant 24/7 thing, when you got girls that's looking at you like you my Superman, So you gotta kind of, it's different, it's something that you can't really explain. It's just like, you just know what to do, being a man, just
I feel like the myth is brought about because it's rare in the black community, you know, that you see fathers stepping up and being a father to their child. So I feel like people are used to like seeing, you know, just the mother. I feel like the mother can't choose, you know, if she can be a mother or not, you know. So on up. I mean, it's a personal thing with people. I feel like me personally, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna be a father to my child regardless. So it's not really something I believe in. It's a myth. I know I love my daughter. I feel like that's why the myth is brought about. That's my answer.
Thank you for that. Okay, I noticed that when I was coming up as a kid, I always thought that I was raised by my dad. And so this day is really special to me for that because my mother passed away when I was 7. It was 5 of us. And my dad stepped up and he raised us by himself. Now, my dad only had a 3rd grade education, so there was a lot that he missed out on being able to do. But he did everything he could do to be sure that we had what we needed. You know, he provided a place for us to lay our head and food to eat. I remember a time when you opened the refrigerator, we had a jug of water and an onion. But we ate good every night. Every day, Dad would bring something home. It was during the recession back in the 1970s. We had a little recession. But every night we ate. You know, it might not have been what we wanted, but back then you didn't eat what you want anyway. You ate what was put on the table.
All right.
So I would say that my dad, you know, he did a lot of good. He did wrong. He did make mistakes, but he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Amen.
Amen. So I would like to ask my panel, name something. Also, I would say that although I thought he was wrong in some things he did or didn't do it right or whatever, I found that myself, I was using some of the same tactics raising my children that he used in raising us. Not all, but some. So I would like to ask the panel, name something negative or positive that you picked up from your father that you now use to raise your children, or will use.
All right. I'm tough on my kids, especially my son, especially my boys, because the world is going to win. And my dad, he always showed me that as long as you put in the work, success is around the corner. And I work hard, just like he do, and the results always come. In that same token, I try and show my boys and my girls also that they got to do the same thing. Success is wherever you want it to be, as long as you put in the work for it, as long as you're striving for it, as long as you take that next step. If you get complacent and you're okay with where you're at, then that's what you're going to do. You're going to stay stagnant. And every day, even today, my dad's always getting it. and I think that's why I get that drive and that hustle from. Because even no matter what, he's always trying to find that next job. And that's me too. Trying to find that next job, trying to help somebody else, trying to be better. And that's what I got from him, and I'm trying to do the same with my kids.
So, me growing up, always had the kind of dad that kind of, you know, provided. I had a provider, that kind of father, that made sure I always had. So, me growing up, I kind of learned from that, you know, and just, I've always been a provider to my kids and in my household. Another thing that I wish I would have took on was, you know, how to be more active in my kids' life. So I'm learning that as I get older and I'm maturing, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good at it.
I won't be last this time. One thing, my dad growing up, and I do it. I see myself constantly. You know, my daughter's only one, so I talk to her, but I can't really teach her things like that. But I see myself. You know, I'm only 25, but you know, dudes that's younger than me, I try and steer them or teach them the right thing, or tell them the good and bad of situations, or just life in general. You know, and I leave it up to you, but I'm gonna tell you this can happen or this can happen. I feel where you're coming from, but just know you can always come to me, you can talk to me. Ain't nobody special, you know. But I feel like if I can help you with anything, if I can tell you something that it might be something you need to hear for the day. You know, that's something I always learned in my dad.
Well, I picked up a lot over the years, and I picked up mainly being a provider, knowing how to be there, sticking in the paint there with the kids, and not leaving, because I had that situation as well. So I kind of picked up some negativity and some positivity, but it wasn't from the same father. I picked up the positive from my father that I claim my father. My biological father taught me the negative, and I apply that as well to my oldest son, because I know what not to do and I know what to do. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's difficult, but it worked because I got both the positive and the negative, and it kind of balanced itself out with me, so I get to teach them both. So.
One of the things also, the next one would be, rarely is parenthood planned. You know, we, especially black people, we don't plan parenthood. It happens and we jump in and we do what we're supposed to do. Becoming and being a father is a game changer. I want to ask my panel this. Becoming and being a father is a game changer. What did you change, or what did you change, or how did you change when you became a father?
How did I change? I changed the whole lot. But change don't come as easy as people think it is, because my change kind of came late in the game, because I still was messing up with my first child. So I wouldn't say I changed at the beginning of being a father. I changed, you know, you got to go through something and learn something. So I had to go through that first roller coaster with my first son, and know, not because I got more coming, y'all don't have more. So this is a learning experience, this first couple of babies that you got. So, but anyways, yeah, I changed because I knew that I had to stay free for these kids. So that was one of the main things that was my drive, was to, you know, to be there, you know, because the streets, you know, I changed my ways completely 360, because that's all I knew, you know, besides, you know, I knew church, but that's all I knew was the streets, because, you know, that's what we was around, and that's where mainly the influence come from. So, and we always say, oh, we was doing it to provide or whatever, but I found a different way to provide. So that's my answer to that question.
When I had my first child, I was 16. I hadn't really known myself just yet, and I was in the streets heavy. And even then, she changed me, and that kind of gave me even more of a drive to call myself a provider. But it was still in the wrong ways. After that, I had kids more and more. 6 altogether. And it wasn't until I was in state prison. Nobody had names. All they had was ID numbers. And 2 of my kids came to see me. I had been in prison about 18 months then on a 5-year bid. And I was still me. You know, even though I was in prison, I was still doing the same thing just behind the wall. Around people of the same like mind, so it was just developing me even more to be even a worse person than what I was. My son, when he came in, it was like a group of us. And he ran to me out of everybody, just ran straight to me and just climbed up on me. That kind of changed me. And not just that, when we got ready to leave after them 3 hours, how my daughter and my son just started crying for me. They were there for the weekend, so that next Monday, like, I was like tripping, like, man, I gotta do something else. So I prayed. I called my dad. That Sunday, I called my dad. He said, just pray. And I just asked for another way. Just so happened I was in a private prison. They had an electrical program. They said I had to get my GED first. Got my GED and I got an electrical program. Because of that prayer that we had then, and me asking, I'm a journeyman electrician. I'm teaching other people now. And that really, that's what changed me.
Well, so I was 19 when I had my first child. I just graduated high school. I was in college. I was at Alabama State. I was on a partial scholarship, academic, and I had to come home because that's when she was born. It was before. So I couldn't make it home to see the birth of my first child, and so it was probably like a week or 2 after she was born that I came home. And when I came home, I realized, this is my first child, so I'm still a kid, I'm still growing and stuff. So I meet her for the first time, and I don't instantly cling on her like a parent was supposed to. I still, like I said, I'm still a kid, so it was still, that parenting thing was still kind of like fresh and new. And I still was running around, running the street, doing what I was doing. Never went back to college, and ended up having to raise a kid, do what I was supposed to do as a parent, just by, like I said previously, following my father's footsteps as a provider. That's just all I knew. So got a job, dropped out of college, started raising my child, and years later, I still was doing what I was doing, but years later, it took for me to have my second child that really opened my eyes about life. I got 2 kids, and I'm still in the same position I'm in, and I ain't going nowhere. So later on down the road, thoughts come into my mind. I can't keep working for people, and keep losing a job, and I know I got household support. So it's more to it, but I just took a leap of faith and just, went on my own and started doing my own thing, and just everything just started changing for me when I did that. Life just started coming together. I just started being that person, I guess.
Last one. I'm still a fresh father. I was 23 fresh out of prison when I had my first. So it's still ain't. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. You know, in my situation, you know, it's kind of difficult. You know, but it's hard. It's hard sometimes. You know, when you not continuously present in your child's life. So, and all you do is try. You know, it gets hard. You know, I want to be there. There's a lot of things I want to do, but I'm still growing as a man too. I still make mistakes. There's still a lot of things I still want to do that I can't rush into because I'm not ready yet. But you know, learning from my dad and just seeing the things that he did as me growing up. You know, he always did what he had to do, and I do what I got to do. You know. When I change, I can't say when I change because I'm still changing. You know, because this is still fresh to me, and so I feel like it's a constant journey as a father. You know, it's a constant journey. You learn things every day, every month. You know, your child is constantly growing. You know, they're picking up on different things. They learn different things. You know, you think your child is this way, and then next week or the next month it's like, oh, hey, you know, put this down. How you like this? So I feel like it's a constant journey. So I can't say when I change. I'm still changing. You know? Right. I'm still
Here's the next question. This is something that we as black people have been dealing with all of our lives since the history of coming to America. It seems to be in the media a lot more now that it's happening more. Now that social media is around 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago, it was happening then. It just wasn't brought to the light as much as it is now because people have phones with cameras and everything, and they're bringing it to the light. They're videoing, they're catching it, and they're bringing it to the light. But here's what I want to say to my panel when I'm asking. Black people are 3.23 times more likely than whites to be killed by police. What have you taught or what will you teach your kids about interacting with the police?
I would teach my kids, you know, to comply. Don't be disrespectful. You know, just try to do anything to get yourself out of the situation that you're in. You know, without alarming them or anything that would get them any kind of suspicion to take matters to a different level. I mean, you're not gonna be there for your kids, when they drive in the car, by themselves or with their friends and they get pulled over and, sometimes they might not be able to pick up the phone and call their parent. Or, cops might not even let you pick up the phone and call your parent. So it's kind of tough, trying to teach your kids something that you still learning, so.
I'm jumping down.
I'm done.
Somebody mic ain't working, so I ain't. One thing I'm teach mine is because I gotta be honest. Police still scare me tonight. All I can teach my daughter, future son, is. So what they ask you to do, you know the law yourself. Well, I don't teach them the law, but I know the law myself of what they can and can't do, but I can't fight the law. So all I can say is, teach them is to whatever they ask you to do it, and that's a short answer, but I feel like that's
Just like he said, man, I still get nervous when I see police officers police cars, they lights, it still gets me, and I haven't been in that life for a long time. There are a lot of videos showing a lot of kids trying to get likes, shares, and subscribes about talking reckless to the police and putting themselves in situations that they don't need to be. I kind of got my kids away from stuff like that, but with them seeing it, it may seem cool, but it ain't. It's just putting yourself in a really sticky situation of not just going to jail, but getting yourself hurt, because just like us, the police may be as scared, if not scarier than we are when they pulling people over. You know, they getting the same scare tactics as our black kids are, as watch their hands, seeing videos of police getting shot. They're seeing the same thing as we are, just on a different side of it. And to be honest, they're scared of a lot of us. So I tell my kids when they getting of age now, just comply. That's all we can do. You know, the best way to beat them is to do what you need to do and keep it tracking.
I feel the same as those guys about the complying, and I also feel like it should be more than us just teaching them. It should be a community thing, because it's us saying it, it's still gonna be a continuous thing. I mean, it's like all we doing is just basically just saving them. You know, I get what everybody's saying, but it's like, for me, it's deeper, and I think that it's just gonna take more than just the father. It's gonna take a lot of people, you know, to teach these kids about this situation, and it's gonna take for that person on the other end to change, because all our life we've been getting taught how to act around white folks, so it ain't that new, because that's all we dealing with mainly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like something got to change, and they haven't changed yet, because we getting told that, oh, we done came from a long ways from, you know, Jim Crow days and all that, but like me telling my sons them that still got them looking at me like, well, dang, Dad, like, you just laying down, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? Because you got these young generation kids, it's different than how me and these guys is, because we listen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got a mind to say, okay, all right, I'm gonna listen. We bumped our heads, don't get me wrong, but we also were smart enough to say, this ain't gonna work, we gotta try something else. But these kids nowadays, they don't have no reasoning and no understanding, and they feel like we weak if we comply. I'm just saying, because I got a 19-year-old, so I know how he look at me when I try to tell them certain stuff. It's easy to tell them when they're younger. When they get older, they're looking like, man, I don't, you know what I'm saying? He tried me, you know what I supposed to do? You know what I mean? I ain't did that wrong, why he messing with me? So how can you talk to them at that level when they that age? It's different, you know what I'm saying? It's only so much I can get through to him. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain is, I'm gonna do my part as a father and tell them to comply. But future references, we gotta do something all in the community or wherever you living at, where the situation going on at. Because all it's gonna be is continuous high, and the complying to me is, you know, basically just gonna save us until we come up with an idea. But that's what I got to say about the officer situation, because it's deep. It get deep.
It does.
You know?
Yes. And I know with my personal experience with police, and it's sad to say that when I see police lights behind me, I am more afraid if that officer that gets out that car is a black man than I am if he's a white man. because for some reason, it seems that black officer tends to treat black people a little worse than a white one. You know, that's my personal experience. I don't know about anyone else. But I mean, I've had a black police officer, I was a teenager, picked me up one night, we were hanging out, it's Martin Luther King now, it used to be Anderson Avenue. I was at the wigwam and didn't know that there was a curfew. He picked us up. I was getting in the car and he slammed my leg in the door. You know, I was doing what he said. I'm getting in the car, didn't talk back, didn't do anything, and he closed my leg in the door. You know, and it seems like to me that, you know, not saying that because we're black, you should let us slide. But understand what we're going through as black people. Because you're going through the same thing, no matter what level you make it to. You know what I'm saying? If you don't believe that, look how the world look at President Obama. You know, he's a black man. Look where he made it. Look how they still treat him. You know, look at the way they talk and treat Jay-Z and all. You know, we can make it up in that level of success or whatever in life, but they're still going to treat us, and they don't want us to forget that you're still black. You know, and that's some of the things that's going to have to change. You know, and we're going to have to do it not by might. You know, we're going to have to do it in a different way, because when you go at them with deeds, they got something for you. But when you go at them with knowledge, they don't understand that, and it scares them.
Can I interject? I want to interject. I have to teach mine about his own kind.
Yes.
And we talking about the officers, but these jits out here killing each other so bad, it's a shame. And they, right now, is the least of our words, is the cops. I'm talking about they're our words, but they the least of our words for the detriment of us as black young men, as ourselves, right now. And that's why I feel like they feel like they can do what they're doing to us, because they feel like we don't care about ourselves. So we got fathers like me and these guys up here, we need more. But thank God we got us, because the ones that don't have a father is jealous of the ones that do. And they make it uncool to have a father sometimes. The ones that's out there with nothing make your child feel bad about having a father and having, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard. It's like basically now it's a fight with trying to get your child to understand that what's cool and not cool. So I just want to say that.
Thank you. Very good, Jackson. That would bring on to the next question, because that's one of the things, and I've often said, and it seems strange to me that when black on black crime, when blacks kill black, it seems to be the norm, or it's getting to be the norm, and it's getting to be to where it's okay. But then when a white person or a police kill one of us, now black lives matter. You know, but if black lives is going to matter, I believe black lives have to matter when doctors say it's a boy or it's a girl. That's when black lives have to matter. Because you have to bring them up then and teach them then to love themselves with the skin that they're in. You know, don't let them believe that because they're black that they're inferior to anyone. You know, you're just as important and you're just as loved, and you can be as great as anyone else. You know, and it's not because of the color of your skin that you can't do or go anywhere you want to go. You know, and you're the only one that can hold you back. You know, no one can hold you back because of the color of your skin. Because sometimes what it takes is just moving around. You know, okay, if you're going to hold me back here, then I'm going to move over here to where you can't hold me back over there. Or I'm going to do this here. But you got to make that move, and you have to do it with your brain. Anytime you do that, they got something for that. You know, and then the main thing is going to be, they're going to say it's justified. And one of the things I want to say, I was at work, and behind the job, this lady, she had some mangoes in a shopping cart, one of my co-workers. And so I grabbed one of her mangoes. Her and I, we always play and tease each other. And she's like, put my mango back, that's mine. You want one, go out and get one off the tree. There's a tree in the back. I work for Home Depot. And she said, go back in the back and get your own. There's something in the tree. I said, you're trying to set me up. Because I wear all black to work. I wear black mask, black shirt, black pants, black hoodie, black hat. I'm like, you trying to set me up. A black man dressed in black with a mask on behind Home Depot, driving a black car with dark tinted windows. You trying to get me shot. I'm not going back there for no mango. You know, and then next week they're gonna be saying it's justified. You know, well, what did he have in his hand? Too many mangoes. I'm not going to set me up like that, you know. But it's crazy that, you know, that out of all the things that we should be thinking about, we should be wondering about, we shouldn't have to wonder and think and try to keep in our mind how to stay alive. No one else has to worry about how to stay alive. Now, if you're living that lifestyle of like that, then yes, then you're going to have to wonder how I'm going to stay alive. But just living and trying to do everything, trying to have the American dream. We have to worry while trying to have the American dream, how can I stay alive? We shouldn't have to do that as a people. No one should.
Right.
And so, I want to ask my panel, we're going to move on, because this one can go all day. It is said that a boy needs his father in his life to become a man. How much more important is the need for a girl to have a father as well?
Y'all with them women start
I feel like it's real important. I feel like it's important for both, honestly. But you know, we're speaking on the girl, so I feel like it's important from the simple fact that, you know, the first man in your daughter's life is what they're gonna be looking for when they get older. So how you portray and, you know, and the stuff that you do in front of her, you know, that's what she's gonna be looking for when she get older, you know, in another man. So if you out here, you know, in the streets or whatever, she's gonna look for, you know, a street dude. You know, if you working and doing this and that, you know, her eyes set on that kind of particular guy. You know, it might not look like that in the beginning, you know, because they're young and they're kids, but, you know, once they get older, you know, common sense start ringing in, you know what you want. You know, so I feel like it's more of a future reference and, you know, a now thing, but more of a future reference for the girls, though, you know, because you don't want your daughter just to be with anybody.
I feel like it's just as important, you know, in both kids, you know, male and female, I mean, boy and girl. I feel like as a girl, you know, the father being there is because what if the father is not there in the first, just off of his same answer, you know, the first male that's in her life doesn't even have to be the one that's in the household. You know, they can be somebody that she grows up and, you know, fall a liking to. You know, and this person can manipulate her mind or whatever to, you know, this is what she likes now. Really, it's the first guy to show her love. You know, and that's what she gonna fall a liking to. And you know, I feel like the father being there, a loving father. Me personally, I gotta go. I'm gonna teach her, you know, what she needs to look for. Not you ain't gotta look for it, really. You know, just do everything and you know what not to allow. You know, so I feel like that's my father.
I got a short answer. I just had a daughter, so my short answer is I'm gonna just show her what love is. That's what's important. That's gonna tell it all. That is.
Just like they said, I got 4 girls. So I'm doing my best to be that model of the man that they want to see. I'm setting that expectation so high, so high, that when they go looking for a guy like me, it's gonna be like almost impossible. Almost impossible. I want them to make sure that they get a guy that's gonna show them the life that I'm striving to give to them. And and that's gonna treat them the way that I feel like I'm treating them, and take nothing less. So we are the first Superman of their life. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta stand on that.
Okay, and on that, I would also say, you know, just as they were saying, you know, we have the father has to be the one to show that girl love. You know, because she's going to chase after the man that she saw, this whoever was the strongest or the funniest or whatever it was, you know. And one of the things we also have to do, you know, teach them, you know, what a real man is. You know, don't allow them, you know, don't go for them fakers. You know, you got some that, you know, just don't fall for it. So we have to be there to make sure that they don't. And then we have to be there not only for that, but whenever he shows up, check him. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna check him. You know, because I remember when my baby girl first introduced me to her first boyfriend, and it was like, she called me out to church. And I got on a shirt and a tie and a suit, and I'm like, well, why did you let me meet him while I'm dressed like that? I look soft. Every time I had on my work clothes and had my pistol tucked in my side. She's like, oh, Daddy, look. I'm like, well, he told a gun. I said, son, don't you carry a gun? Yes, sir. I said, see, I want him to know I carry a gun. You know, I want him to know. And I told him, you know, this is my heart. You heard her, you heard me. You heard me, I heard back. You know, so, and that's the way it's going to be. You know, and I don't think, you know, ain't no joker gonna think you're gonna be there beating on my girls and all that. No, that's not gonna happen. And that's why I don't beat on their mother, so they'll know I'm not going for that. And I have two more questions, and we're gonna come to the end of this. Just as motherhood doesn't come with instruction, neither does fatherhood. But if you were writing a book on fatherhood, what would one of your instructions be?
Never leave your family and be there. Just never leave them and abandon them. But that's one of the main things that you can't come back from that. You don't want the other man raising your kids. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing for me. You know. That's short and simple. Right? Never leave them or forsake them.
Mine is almost just the same thing. Life being family.
All right.
Man, an instruction manual. Whew, in Chinese? Oh no, for real though. Sometimes the kids, your family, everybody gotta see the mistakes made in life and how you deal with them. My kids now that I've got older, I've learned to kind of control my emotions, and I think before I react. Sometimes it's taken the wrong way, but you gotta evaluate the situation and the outcomes before you react to it. So my instructions would be to play the field, to really like take on everything, and for every action doesn't need a reaction right away. You have to really evaluate and understand what's going to happen, what's going to be the consequences of your reactions. So you have to really see it's going to cost you, and sometimes you're not ready to pay the fee of that.
mean, if I had to write a book, only two things I would say is have patience. You know, you gotta have patience with your kids. You know, because they're best. They really is. You know, they tell the house, they write them stuff. So if you ain't got patience, it's gonna be a big problem. It's gonna be hard to deal with. So if you got patience and you active, you know it's gonna work itself out regardless. Regardless whether you know it or not, it's just gonna work out.
And also, I would say that one of the things I had to learn raising the kids was that every kid is an individual, you know, and they have to be treated the same. I remember I put a post on Facebook years back, and I got a lot of flack from it. And the post said that any mother that say they love all their children the same ought to be arrested for child abuse. And I got a lot of flack from that because, you know, you hear people saying it all the time. Oh, I love my children the same. Well, you can't love them the same because they're individual. Right. Different from that child that's a straight A student doing everything you're saying, but you love them. Right. You know, but they have to have a certain kind of love to bring them into the fold of where they are. So that is great, I think. And bring her to her dad. In fact, bring all the kids. She's sleeping. She's sleeping. Bring her to her dad. Bring her to the dad.
Gladly.
Go there. Come on here. Come over here.
Over here.
Good. So do I get my baby? Okay. Well, his daughter isn't here, so that's why she's not here. Here's the final question. Bless you. It is. I really thank God for the lesson that I've learned as a father. And my children taught me far more than I've taught them. They helped me grow in a way that, you know, I can't even imagine. But I would like to ask the panel, and this is, what would you say to a father that is not in his children's life?
Do what you gotta do to get in your kid's life, bro.
You're missing out on a beautiful thing.
I'm gonna give a duplicate answer. Do what you gotta do to get in.
All right.
The time is now.
I thank everybody for being here today, and I thank him. What they've heard here today, and this will be put on social media. I don't know at what point it will be put on the podcast page, but it will go on social media. And this is going to give a lot of men, young and old as well, something to look at. This here, what you heard today, it isn't just something for Father's Day, it is something for life. You know, so, and I thank my family for being here today, and I thank the special guests that showed up late. And I thank everyone for being here today. God bless you, and continue to be here.